Hello, my name's Iain Galbraith, and I'm recording this in Wiesbaden, which is where I live. The poem I'm about to read was commissioned more than 2 years ago to celebrate the opening of the Berlin Humboldt Forum, and yet its title, Portal 7, Europa Gate, might be considered a misnomer. In fact, there are only 6 gates, or portals, in the reconstructed facade of the old Berlin Palace. That said, people will generally agree that Europe itself exists, parting company only on what that word refers to. Perhaps one way of understanding the utopian edition of a 7th palace gate, the Europa, would be to see in it a suggestion to invite a cultural anthropologist's eye to turn on the materials of those European economies and cultures that sustained and are sustained to this day by colonial and neo-colonial practices. A candid, unclouded eye, and more importantly, an eye whose gaze is trained on our civilization from a viewpoint situated outside the European gate. My own narrator's gaze is manifestly from within, a discomforted, implicated, cynical gaze. The poem begins with an epigraph from Joseph Conrad's novella Heart of Darkness, written in 1899, a book about the violence of European colonialism and projection of its savagery onto the colonized. When the narrator of the story, Charles Marlowe, speaks of darkness, he is comparing the colonialism of yesterday, in this case Roman, with that of today, European, or, as he says, continental. And while he concedes that there is no difference in their brutality, he finds there is an idea at the back of modern colonial practice that somehow redeems it. He is vague on what that idea is, however. Perhaps he has a notion of the superiority of what he calls the mission to civilize. What saves us, he says, is efficiency, the devotion to efficiency. His belief in redemption shows Marlowe as someone who has repressed the irredeemable horror he himself witnessed in the Congo. His disgust returns to him, however, as he tells his story. Marlowe will, of course, not live long enough to witness European efficiency as displayed in the savage 20th century. And now to the poem, if I can find it. Portal 7, Europa Gate. But darkness was here yesterday. O Balconia, ancestral land, why should I shun your stony embrace? For is not terra cognita weirder, more beguiling than all? Twice have I left you, twice returned, once for a jaunt to that Dow Madison campus where billy-wielding police bludgeoned a protest, once for a spin to Anatolia's eastern end. But home is a castle fit for a Kaiser, and so this poem, my cosmos and wonky conscience. What I see is unknown, and therefore familiar, if you're a stranger. Let us go, then, change this gestalt from within, albeit outwardly thus the same, and fill a parody with cultures, cities with transparent works, justice and fairness for all, whatever. And see me, unwilling confidant, who only yesterday, en passant, to post you this, encountered a gentilhomme on a balcony looking down. Navy suit, Sciences Po Paris, Maréchal of Trade, plenty of Action Française here. Je suis partout, his jesty message seemed to proclaim. And it's true. You see him here, you see him there, in London, Rabat, and Berlin. Ergo, resolve to join him inside that global bar and do some handfast business. Slashed price fleet of diesels driven over someone's child's dead body. Ha! But let it trickle down. I did. Exhibit. Put in a bid for the outgoing gendarmerie you marked on the map, with a few ripe gendarmes thrown in for that price, eh? Discreet, however, through an agent I hired for the early work. Cells and intel intact. Double their pensions if the goons stay under our wing. We're wired. We'll need hands-on. Imagine the fiasco, if you will. Civil unrest and no commanding tweet. Buff, a load of rot. Hashtag Team Fortress. Hashtag Team Cherry Picking. Ha ha ha. Hashtag Team Haircut. Hashtag Team Asset Stripping. Hashtag Team This is the End. Blah blah. It's not.